Boom. Here we are. In the Room Podcast. A Wednesday. Do you call this Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday night? I'm usually here at 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock tonight with comedian Mayo here. Comedy Mayo, as your tag says and stuff like that. And his buddy here. Nickname?
Soup.
Soup. Do we give you a real name? Oh, yeah, we got it up
yeah,
there. We were
it's up there.
debating your real name up
Yeah.
here because you are like Spider-Man.
Right.
You're a little secretive.
That's right.
So we were kind of like, juggling. What's up? So let's get to you first.
All right.
So you mentioned you didn't want to put your name up here. You did. You have a business page.
Yeah.
Talk about it. You're a comedian yourself, man?
I am a
what's going
comedian
on with-
myself. This guy knocked me off the no comedy wagon a couple years back. I did it in my early 20s. I used to run a multi-genre open mic on Monday nights for a long, long time. And during that time, I got the nickname Soup, short for Superman, because I would go do anything. I could go play music with you. I could host the night. I did my own little comedy style stand-up sets and stuff like that. And so I got the nickname, and people just kind of called me that forever and ever. And my government name is just kind of what I pay my taxes with and what my mom calls me when I'm in trouble. So like, I don't know if people would recognize me more than I'm trying to be secretive,
Exactly.
you know? But
See, I never knew that about the name. I thought you're just because you have a real liquid consistency. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you're chunky, sometimes you're too cold. You know.
right.
I thought when I first saw it and I looked on your Facebook, I thought it was Sup.
Yeah, see
You
that?
know, Sup.
That's what a lot of
That
people
works.
think.
A
Sup it.
fair amount of people would say that too, I guess, because it's not wrong. That's people call me that too before they know what my name is. So,
Well, you mentioned Corey got you into comedy or got you
back
into
into
it.
comedy, yeah.
How do you get into comedy? First of all, let's get to you. How do you
Well, when I
convince
got
yourself you're funny enough to make people laugh?
I've always enjoyed stand-up comedy. I've always tried to make people laugh. It's just one of my personality traits is if it's awkward, I'm going to try to get a laugh instead of, you know what I mean? Because I hate feeling uncomfortable. I feel like when everyone's laughing, it's comfortable.
Yes.
But one night, actually, what was it, 2017 and 2018 New Year's Eve, I took a bunch of mushrooms and I went to this party.
I love this guy.
And I was the only one on mushrooms at this party, and I was the entertainment. Okay, I basically did stand up for like 3 hours and just like pointing around the room, fucking making jokes about everything. And afterwards, one of my buddies the next morning was like, "Dude, you should do stand up comedy. You were fucking hilarious last night."
Roasted
And I was
everyone.
like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, I guess I'll give it a shot." And then shortly after that is when I started Rick's. Literally, I was 3 months into comedy, starting my own room.
All right. So, but were you on mushrooms when you went up to do your first open mic?
No, I was
So
not
it
a
was
mushroom.
nowhere near as good.
Yeah. Oh, I was garbage. Oh, I was garbage. I'm still garbage.
way.
What are we talking about?
Well, some of us get better.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to do all clean stuff now, and I had a real rough set at Pub on Park on Monday. I'm just saying.
Pub on Park. I grew up there.
Yes. Oh, really?
I still live 2 blocks down the street, right along
Oh,
the highway.
okay.
there.
So you remember when it was the
Doric-
laundromat?
Yes.
That's
I
where
grew up-
comedy started, was in that laundromat.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah. They used to have
a lot
open
of
mic
careers.
in the laundromat.
A lot of careers.
Yeah.
There's still people hanging out the side of that laundromat.
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
it's still there. But that I grew up 2 blocks away my whole life. I was the
really?
youngest of 6. My brothers. The pub used to be it used to be this size.
Oh, yeah.
This room.
Right.
Just the bar, right?
Just the
Yeah.
bar. It was just a little alley. And my brothers and they opened that place. Marshall built it.
I love Marshall.
And
Marshall's
then
a
they
great
all,
dude. Yeah.
but that's a great place. I used to go there on Mondays all the time for open mics. But then I have my daughter now, so I'm not, she's older, but we have dinner. We're out later. So I
They
never
also
get to
do
that.
they do some regular shows there too. They have the Metal Sundays, which they actually do metal shows
Yes.
there like once a month on Sundays. I've actually in my other band, I played a couple of those back before we split. But
I've actually been to a couple of those too.
Yes.
Excuse me. I do believe. I know the young lady that hosts those.
Yes.
She's a bartender there. I
Yes.
don't know if she still hosts those.
I
still,
think she
right?
still does.
Oh,
yes.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, small world. I mean, the Pub on Park, that's I mean, these open mics, I mean, you need every place you can.
You really
get
do.
into. But how was that? I mean, Pub on Park, the kind of the not only the crowd, but the kind of comics you get there.
So you get a lot of the up and coming Rhode Island comics go to Pub on Park just because one, it's reliable, and two, you get a decent amount of time. But the thing about Pub and Park is like pre-pandemic, that was the best place because there was always people there coming in from bowling, eating, there might have been some kids in the crowd, but most of the time they were over in the arcade, you know what I mean? But you always got non-comics in there. And then, the pandemic happened. The first 2 years were kind of rough, but we're getting back now to where I go there on Monday nights and there's people that are non-comics there, just there to watch comedy, which is all a room can really ask for. You know what I mean?
It's starting to come back, you're saying, a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that room is great. I love the staff there. Eric's the best bartender. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
I miss him. I haven't seen them in years. Like
Pat
3
O'Connor
years.
is cooking in the kitchen now, and
Yeah.
he made me some really good.
I-
they have garlic fries there. They're killer, man.
They
Garlic
have
parm
great, they
fries.
have great bands there too
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
weekend.
yeah.
Marshall he puts on a great thing. The bowling night was my thing. We used to hang out there when we were like 12, get kicked out all the time.
I went to pick up one of my buddies who worked there, and it was a Saturday night, right? And there was just this old ass band playing, right? But everyone in the crowd was at least 55 and older.
Yeah, they all live like a
Oh
block
my
away.
God,
They
they
probably
were
walk
all
there.
dancing like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was the fucking
It's
50s.
fucking- yeah, it is. They
couldn't
come out in
fucking
cults
believe it.
too. These are all like gangs of people too. It ain't like just a couple people show up. These are like 15 or 20 people that hang out in a fucking cult every week. And
Yeah.
there's like groups of them. So it
They
fills
seem
the
like
room.
swingers, and
awesome.
I was making a
That's
joke to
what
my
I
buddy.
need. But
I was like, you know what? These women's fucking pussies are red for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? It's because they're fucking their diapers are wet.
So it's small
They have
story.
continence problems.
Now I'm good friends with a band. I'm a drummer. We'll talk about a little music there. But I went to see my my friend who is my instructor, his band play at the Last Resort.
Oh, I love the last resort.
It was a Sunday afternoon, and there was a swingers party going on in the
Oh,
pool.
I could see that.
It was it was incredible to see. I was jealous as fuck.
And
It was awesome. I said, I got to be part of this world.
You
I
ever
was like,
realize
what's
how
going on?
ugly swingers are?
Well,
Half the group.
Right, I
Half
was gonna
the
say,
group.
there's
is.
a
you got the
reason
hot-
some of them
you got the
are
hot wives,
swingers.
All the
then you got
husbands are. All the husbands are kind of,
But there's still ugly,
smoking cigars
ugly
and shit.
chicks in there. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like 55, 60-year-old women that are like, and then you're like, oh, she can pop her teeth out. Like you're like, oh, okay, I see why she's in
Yes,
the group.
exactly. Exactly.
Still a keeper.
A tan looks good on anyone. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was just like, and then as they drank, it was getting a little looser, and
I love
where
seeing
do I find
oh,
this
man.
place?
seeing bands outside in the summertime. Right by the pool, they have that stage in the back at Last Resort. That's honestly, I've seen some mediocre bands, but just out there in the summer heat, they sounded incredible. You know what I mean? But it is a good spot to see shows inside or outside.
Yeah. So other comedy nights, I know I had B. Lee in here.
Yes.
And Mr. Martin, who we'll talk about that because you did some stuff for him recently. But as far as like the hot spots, let's say, in the Rhode Island area, as far as open mic where you can get work and where there will be people that show up and to maybe
You got
see or check
Askew.
out.
Askew is probably regarded as the best Rhode Island open mic. It's on Tuesday nights. But it's where all the real comics go to do a set. You know what I mean? Not just the open micers. You'll see real comics there just popping in to do some time.
Yep.
But it's also a really long list, so you have a lot of people in the room. There's also people that are just coming there just to have a good time because Askew is one of the great venues in downtown Providence for sure.
I've never been there. I'm gonna have to check it out on a Tuesday
great.
night. Then
Also, it's great. It's
John
great
runs
every
a
night of
good
the
shop, man. He knows what he's doing.
who is it? Who hosts there?
John, it was Winsong owns it, but it's
Winsong owns
Winsong
it.
and John. He also has Alchemy as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
He used to do
okay.
Club Hell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
My
He was a
old
couple-
stomping
Yes.
ground, man. When
You remember
I was
how
a
awesome
kid.
that place used to be?
Oh my!
I used to have to
meet-
sneak in there. I was so young.
I used to meet all the bands. We like the bands that would come in that were like playing at the Civic Center.
Oh yeah.
They would need look for some place to go. They're mostly heavy metal bands and stuff
Yeah,
like that. I remember meeting Scott Rockenfield from Queensryche in there.
Oh, nice.
The original, he was just checking out hardcore. I remember like one of my friends were playing, and they they.
Well,
let
that's
him-
probably why. That's probably why he
Fucking
came there
crazy.
because John does book a lot of the acts, a lot of the bigger acts that come through Providence.
Right.
He's one of the
Okay.
main. He's one of the main bookers in
All right.
Providence. So if he sees a guy coming through Civic Center, he's like, hey, you want to grab a drink? Come over to my club.
awesome. Exactly, networking right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's one of the best. He really is, and a good dude at heart. You couldn't ask for anybody better to be doing that kind of thing.
He is a good
And
dude.
then Winsong, who runs and owns the place officially, is ultra sweetheart too. So.
Oh yes, she's the best.
Now, as far as getting on the list and getting
It's easy.
there that
Obviously,
night.
if you get there early, you're getting a better spot on the list. But you can get on the list. I mean, sometimes they'll show up at 8:30. You know, when I do go there, a lot of times, actually, because I live so close to Worcester, I've sort of been going to Worcester a lot of times because I can do 2 mics in Worcester. But going to a skew, I can always ask someone to sign me up, or get there and just wait it out. But Will, one of my good friends, is the bartender there, so it's never.
Oh, I see.
It's
Is
never a bad
Is there
time.
anyone that just comes off the street and just like gets up there,
So,
or
I'll-
you have to have some kind of you got to
I
know
feel like
someone?
not
or-
there. I feel
Yeah.
like not there, but
Okay.
like Rick's, people used to do their first time all the time at Rick's. You know what? There's actually a lot of comedians still doing it now that started their first time at Rick's.
And just got up there, got the balls, and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I think I could get up there." And I mean, you get a
Sometimes
lot
a little
of people.
liquid courage or something
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that. You're in the bar environment.
Pub on Park when I pre-COVID, and I think it was kind of when they were starting to do it. You would get a lot of people, and they
Mm-hmm.
would it seemed like they were thinking they were funny, but it went up there as more of releasing
Yeah. Self
energy,
People-
kind of like
yeah.
a therapy
happens a lot.
session
Exactly.
for
A
them.
lot of
you know
people
what
do
I mean?
that.
It'd be like, but some of them are fun. Like you would like. Wow, if he put this together or she put this together, it
Yeah.
would kind of be all right. But then you have the other ones like, man, did this guy just come off the street, buy a bag, and fucking,
Oh, you're talking
stop
about
fucking
Dylan Walsh. No. I'm just kidding. I love you, Dylan. Love you, Dylan.
It's awesome.
I'm just fucking around. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. Sometimes it seems like that. Actually, a lot of the times, like Pub on Park, I think, in my time going there, I've seen a couple people do it for the first time. Usually, like college kids or something
Yeah.
like that. But straight up off the street person, you're seeing that more at Rick's. Like, yeah.
I mean,
So is
all
this
right.
lady?
Drink
a
it,
place
yeah.
like a skew or Pub on Park is more intimidating because you go in and like it feels like you're in a group of comedians.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
a show. It feels
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's a show.
Yeah,
going
you're
on,
like,
yeah.
oh, and then somebody's like, "There's a list," and it takes a lot of balls to
Yeah.
go into a group of comedians and sign up for the first time.
Especially when you see someone kill on stage. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
real
so
easy
tough.
for someone to sign up if they see someone bomb. You know what I
I
mean?
can do better than that.
Oh, I can do better than
Yeah.
that guy. I can do better than that guy. But a lot of times, what you don't know is that guy is just sitting there practicing new stuff that he hasn't really thought through. It hasn't been flushed out yet.
Yes.
He's just trying his. I thought of this today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I do at open mics
Yeah.
a lot of the times. Unless I'm preparing for a show, then I'm hitting him with the heat. I'm like, I need to make sure these jokes are on time.
Yeah.
I got 7 minutes, whatever I need here. But a lot of times when I have no agenda, I'm just fucking around with new shit. And
Yeah.
some people say, "Oh, I can do that. I can do that," and then they go up and they realize they have nothing.
Yeah, and you're working it out. I mean, you're working
Yeah.
it out through open mics and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
getting that to be smooth.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like, getting a show, not an open mic, actually being part of a show. I know, I know Parada.
Yep.
He's does a lot of stuff there, and I've seen another woman that does a lot of like shows around.
Allison Diet.
Yes,
yes,
yes.
she's awesome. I love Allison.
Now, how do you get it? On one
You know,
of
a
those.
lot of
Now,
the time-
I would imagine those are paying gigs.
What
too,
you have to
right?
do is you have to be annoying, which I don't like to do.
No,
You
it's
gotta
true.
kiss a lot of ass.
you
It's
have
true.
to you have to
And you
send
gotta
people
stay
your
in touch.
avails. You gotta text
be
them
in
all the
touch.
time, and it's like I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
I don't like to be annoying
Yeah, I
because
understand.
I hate annoying people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I don't have a sponsor and no one likes me.
Exactly.
I'm not annoying to
I'm surprised we don't at least have Blue Chew on here. I mean, you got enough fighters that take supplements.
I'm old enough to have it. What the fuck?
You know, that's salt and pepper. Oh man, at least get mango in
I
here.
might have some. Oh, no, this is a condom.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
skins.
direct-
Oh, boy.
Shit.
Oh my god. All right.
man.
Getting on shows, kiss ass, all that other stuff.
So I mean,
But-
we book shows basically so we can do shows.
Do shows.
You know, that's one of the things. Like, I'd rather produce my own show and have everything. You know, I hate doing bad at somebody else's show.
It's tough.
I feel like there's a lot more pressure for me to do good in my own show.
Right. You
You
get
know?
more practice time in, or you decide to put more practice time in. You got to hit more of the mics. And the other part is the way that comedy's booked locally. There's a lot of way ahead of time and then extremely last minute.
Yes, there's a lot
So
of
there's
extreme
this
last minute.
in between time,
Yeah.
which is our time frame that we work in.
Yeah.
So it became easier to just, I have this room available that I can get, so let's use it to do our thing instead of trying to think of obscure things like a singing cabaret and we have a comedy opener and I can host myself. Just do the comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's in a space where we have all the control we want, but if we don't want that much control, there's people there who help us fill in that space if we need it. And the availability to grow there because there's a bigger room attached to it, which is awesome.
Oh, yes.
And really one of the things that we're looking to do.
Yeah, he's talking about the stadium theater. We currently do the marquee room, which is about 107 seats.
Yep.
And then the actual theater is what, 1,100?
Almost 1,100.
Almost
yes.
1,100, yeah.
It's a big jump up. And I mean, we do awesome shows there, tooting my own company's horn.
Yep.
But we do awesome shows there, tribute shows, original stuff. We just had Judy Collins come through.
No shit.
We got Ace Frehley coming up.
I hear,
Oh,
I
yes,
hear
Ace
so
Frehley
much
is coming
about
up.
that place.
Ace Frehley
I
from
hear,
Kiss.
I've never been there.
Dude, you gotta come.
It's
I've
one of
never
the
been
it's
there.
one of the most
gotta
beautiful. I'm pretty sure one of the oldest continually running
Yes.
theaters in the United States.
1926.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful inside. Yeah, it's pre World War One. Like it's pretty old.
It is World War I.
Oh,
but
it's during World War One. Yes.
and
all right.
and the team that did all of the restoration in there not only did like a historically accurate recreation of it in restoring it, they left a couple of them not restored so you can see the original paintings and stuff on the wall in there.
Wow.
And it was
It's beautiful.
It was
Really?
volunteer.
It must sound
It,
incredible.
it really.
right?
I actually took
it's
my
good.
Stepdaughter to see the SpongeBob musical play. It,
She
I'm
take,
not. I'm
she
not,
take you, or did you take
No,
her?
you know what? He hit me up. I texted him and I was like, "Hey, buddy, I was thinking about going to the SpongeBob thing. You know, I was thinking about taking Maya." And he's like, "I got tickets for you. Don't worry." And I met him at the door. He gave them to me at will call. You know, and we went in, and it was probably I've seen maybe a handful of plays. It may be even less outside of high school, and that SpongeBob musical was incredible. It was so good. The guy who played SpongeBob, he definitely was on Adderall
Chad
or crack
Morris.
or
Oh, yeah.
meth
No, he's
or
just
something.
like that.
He's
He's
like
just born like
yeah.
that.
Well,
It's
it-
wild. He has that.
He was so-
he was
People
really
think
good.
I'm on some kind of speed, but
You're
you
like,
know,
he's
you know,
definitely
fucking
gay.
just
You got
smoke
that.
weed from it. That we know.
His kid and his wife might
But
beg to differ.
It was
but
it was a national. It was actually produced by Nickelodeon, right?
it is
he
a
was-
real- it's a
Aren't
real
those,
deal.
You know, most people that dance around in suits and
You gotta
know,
be a-
costumes be a little.
You gotta be a
like,
little
You gotta
something.
be a little
You
kind
gotta
of.
You gotta be half a fag to do
hedgerow
that.
at least. Some kind of hedgerow is, you know.
To quote Joey Diaz,
Yeah, you
that
got
guy's half a fag.
Oh, there goes my Facebook.
right. We're all gone. Taken down. But it is an amazing community, and it's all local. Chad Moore's is from close.
Oh, he
by.
is? Oh, all right.
And all of the like regular ensemble players that you see in there are from the city and just outside the city. You know, Franklin to Cranston, basically. And they've leveled up a lot. And like I said, it's almost all volunteers. There's not a lot of paid employees there. The community comes together to be the ushers,
Oh,
to be the
man.
beer sellers,
that's
to be
cool.
the
When-
actors.
when we do the comedy
everything.
shows
And
upstairs
then
in the
they get to
marquee
see
room,
the show
And they
too.
get to
I
see
mean,
the
it is
show.
part of
a
like,
lot of the old ladies will
gig.
come to the comedy shows, and you'll see them in the back. They'll be cackling. They're like,
Right?
and all they were there is just to usher people to their seats,
Right.
but they stay for the whole
Yeah,
show.
they
watch
watch
the
the
show.
That's
They
what
watch the
you
whole
can-
show.
But they advertise that too. Like if you come help out, you get a free
You get the
show.
free
You
show.
know what I mean?
And you earn
probably get the
points.
free drinks and maybe whatever.
You
You know,
get
have a
some candy
soda
bars
and
and
soda
stuff,
and stuff
popcorn,
like
you
that.
know.
Yeah.
And you earn points to come to another show.
Okay.
So like every shift you do is worth so many dollars towards getting yourself
wow,
a ticket
they have a
to another
crazy
show.
point system there.
Yeah.
They're like Shell over there.
Yeah,
Holy
it's like going to Stop and Shop and saving up for cheap
yeah,
gas. you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know
games
that.
and tickets and shit.
Right.
For
I
fucking
would.
getting
That's
in.
a good idea,
Throw that.
actually.
Throw one of those fucking things right in the.
I'm gonna get the scratchers going.
Something going on
Put
right there.
that in right
So,
now. There we go.
to get back at available places
Right.
to do open mics, you just recently
I
had a
lost
place.
my baby.
Yes, in Woonsocket,
I lost
correct?
my baby.
Which
Heartbreak.
I had. I got to give him. I got to give him props. Andy Kuritz hooked me up with you at the
Yes.
Cage Titans. We'll talk a little bit about that. Did we talk about Cage? Did we talk about?
We
the
haven't-
Titan yet?
we haven't
get
talked
back to
about
that,
it, no.
But
Not there yet.
we'll get to what happened to you. Your last show, as far as open mic, was on Valentine's Day. What a
Valentine's.
fucking
night
dagger!
to go.
I know.
In the heart. So talk about what you've been doing in Woonsocket as far as your open mic, how long, and some of the people that have gone through there, and what happened in last week.
I think it's I was saying 5.5 years, but I think it's closer to 6 years.
Yeah.
Since
Definitely.
2018. So basically, I started it, I think in March 2018, and it ended in February 2024. So that's almost a full 6 years that I
Congratulations.
like I was saying earlier, I started this mic when I was really young in comedy. I should have waited a couple years to do it, but I did it at a place that I thought would be great for comedy, and it worked out. Actually, a lot of the first comedians that came to watch me fail, but it turned out I didn't fail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I started this every other week for like the first year or two, and then I eventually became every week. And I was actually the first open mic back from the pandemic. I had people coming from New York. I had people coming from Maine just to do comedy because Rick's got the permit to do the show outside. He literally paved me a patio to do comedy outside because that's how successful this open mic was.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. I probably, the first day I was back, I came back in like June 2020. First day I was back, I had like 65 comics outside, all waiting to do time, you know, and because there was nothing else. There was nothing else. And I've been doing that there, you know, in the summer we go outside ever since the pandemic. In the winter we do it inside. And it's, I mean, you can say all the double G words you want there. Like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you can say whatever you want there. It's a great place. Andy loves it. I think he holds the record for saying faggot. He does.
He's right. He always said it with love, though.
But
He always said it with love.
Andy told me it was his first open mic back. He had it as his first open mic back. There's a lot of people. I've had people come from New York just so they could say the word faggot on my stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's.
Yeah.
But it's great. I mean, I was joking about this on the last night. I was like, you know, my 2 longest relationships in my life. I had a 3-year relationship that was very serious, and now I'm in a 4-year relationship that's very serious. And I've been with Rick's for 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and Rick's never even given me a blowjob. He's never licked my asshole.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? He's never even kissed me on the lips. You know?
Right. Some of us may or may not have gotten free sandwiches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Controversially free
Controversial
sandwiches.
free sandwiches. I met my girlfriend at Rick's.
Yes.
She was the bartender there.
No.
She was actually telling.
Really?
Yeah.
She was telling my girl one night.
You beat some fellas out for her. The bartenders are hard to get, bro. You gotta buy-
Yeah.
When people go, hey, I got a bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
My girl was a bartender.
Well, you know.
Oh yeah.
They
You know.
They got their pick of the litter.
Exactly.
They got their pick of the
Sure.
alcoholics.
You know.
They're like,
I know,
may have
but we
started,
were in
but I-
Woonsocket, so I was the cream of the cream. You know. The decision wasn't hard.
That's
or
probably
anything.
why I never went to Woonsocket because of
Oh,
Woonsocket.
speaking of, Olivia's watching right now.
Oh, it's Olivia Lundgren. Hi.
Oh, I don't see any of that. Oh, I don't have it on there.
No,
I
but
have
it was
on
actually a plot, a little bit of a plot, how he got together with his woman because his girl Olivia and my girl Brianna are good friends, you know, and Olivia had expressed her crush to Brianna, and so I knew about it. You know what I'm saying? Soup
So
didn't
there
know.
was a
I
little
got the
hookup
whisper in
here.
my
Ooh.
ear.
Soup was using her phone one day to play music over the bar sound system, right? Using her phone. And I just went up to him. I was like, listen, bro, if I was you, I'd stick your number in that phone. He's like, what? And I was like, just do it.
And I did it.
How smooth.
Boom.
Yeah.
2 weeks later.
I looked like the
Tell
coolest
jokes
guy
about
ever.
this. You tell. All right.
We're-
Let's get
we're-
to that. Your girlfriend is her skin thick enough that you can tell jokes about her? Or you,
I have some jokes that she is involved with. Yes.
are they
All right.
they happen? Do you?
They,
Oh,
they
the
have-
cat
all right,
one?
all
The
right.
cat
Yeah,
one?
the cat one.
Yeah.
I have
All
a good cat joke
I
about
love
it.
Cats. You hate
Oh, we both have good cat
it's-
jokes.
It's
love cats.
mine's a little tamer than
Is it
yours.
not the bucket cat? Is it?
No, it's good about
you have
cats.
cats?
It's well, I do now. That's
Well,
why.
cats. I like your girlfriend. I'm a cat guy. That's all. So go ahead.
So yeah, there's a whole joke that basically comes out with at one point she was dating women, and so she also has cats, and then it comes around.
It goes.
comes around.
Yeah. You want to spoil the punchline?
No,
I
we
mean,
don't. We
you
don't.
know,
Let's say it.
Come see a show.
Yeah, I gotta see a show.
Come see
already.
a show.
I gotta see a show.
And we'll give you that joke.
All right, so we got to go back to Rick's
Oh
Yes.
yeah, Rick's.
because
So yeah, I mean, Rick's
you
has a
told
lot
me.
of history. It's great. I love the place, and it sucks that, you know, they sold to what we think is going to be a breakfast place. We don't
so
know.
we don't
that's
really
what
know.
happened. It sold.
Yeah, it
They
wasn't
sold the
canceled.
property. Okay.
The property was sold.
okay.
Was it canceled? I didn't say the N word too many times on on stage.
No, the people who didn't show up.
I
at the
mean,
last
usually
show.
when someone says the N word, they get an applause break. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's usually what happens at Rick's.
There was once
They
or
just
twice
added
where
and
they didn't.
sold the place with that last time.
I mean, it's a room that has a crazy history in the city anyway because of what it was before Rick's.
Yeah,
too. So,
was
I
it
mean,
Mad
there's-
Dogs or whatever?
Yep, and then Bulldog Bulldogs.
Oh, Bulldogs. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. It was Mad Dogs.
So how do you replace a place like that? Because you said there's people coming from New York, all places around,
So-
just so they can be open and.
That's
know-
the hard part. I kind of fell into one of the coolest places accidentally my
Yeah.
first time because it was my regular dive bar.
Right.
And I was like, we can do comedy here. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's already got the sound system. You know what I mean? Like I kind of just sold it to the owner. And he was actually kind of upset the first couple weeks because he's like, these people keep coming and telling the same jokes. And I'm like, yeah, that's because they're practicing. Like, they're not going to write an entire
That's
new
awesome.
set every week,
yeah.
you know? But then he saw, like, the amount of people that came. They're like, oh, my God, this is basically the only comedy in Woonsocket at the
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? And people kept coming. And people enjoyed it. And people would come, regulars would come just to watch comedy.
Yeah.
And you know what the thing is about Rick's? They'll heckle you.
Oh yeah.
They will heckle you.
Oh,
And
okay.
You know
so
what?
they're really giving you them reps there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It separates the boys from the men at Rick's because sometimes the heckler is funnier than you.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you have to rise to the occasion. And if you can't,
It's gonna hurt.
then you're going to think that,
gonna
oh, this place sucks. I'm never coming back here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Which means you ain't cut out for it.
Yeah,
You aren't going to a
yeah.
big real venue
Exactly.
and taking care of a heckler.
Yeah, you
can't
gotta
do
have.
it around.
I mean, you gotta have thick skin if you're
Yeah.
gonna be a fucking comedian. My God,
There's literally-
everything's gonna ricochet off you.
there's literally hecklers there that, like, they have their own theme. Like, when this one guy heckles you, if he comes up with something better than you have to give him respect. But if he comes up with something done, you're like, shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Fucking, you're done. Stick a
Everybody
fork in
knew,
fuckface.
man.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing grew the community in a different way outside of even the comedians. When I first started coming to it, there were people who literally were like, we were about to go home, but we saw you showed up, so we're staying, you know? And I feel like almost every comedian there has had something like that. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I caught you, because times change every time. It's
Yeah.
not like I go on at 8:55 every night, you know what I mean? A lot of times you end up going on later or significantly earlier than you expect. And so being able to deal with the change in crowd too, like you don't know if it's a food crowd, if it's the drinking crowd, what time it's going to be. If there's pool league and people are trying to play pool,
Yeah.
which you have to shut down
Yeah,
for open mic, turns into a whole nother thing because now you got
People will
five
get
dudes.
upset.
Yeah,
They'll
I
come
can
there to play
imagine.
pool, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, no, pool's done for comedy.
Yeah.
I'll have to take the cue ball
What
away and
the
hide it.
fuck?
Yeah.
You talking?
You guys aren't even fucking funny.
I'll have to take the cue ball and hide it.
Yeah.
What, you got one cue ball in the
Yeah,
place?
absolutely.
Is that it?
No, well, there's multiple cue balls, but I hide them all. I literally put them back on the oven. I'm like,
Oh shit! I can see 12 tables shared. It's Woonsocket. What do you want? They're okay.
well, there's only one table there, but it is a nice table. They used to have pool leagues there and stuff like that, but and yeah, Rick gets that thing refelted every couple years.
So,
you know, but
all right, where are you looking for an
I
option
am.
now?
I'm looking for. I have a couple ideas. I haven't approached anybody. I'm kind of just taking a break for maybe a couple weeks, maybe after my birthday and stuff like that in March. So I think I'm gonna just take it easy for a couple weeks, and I really want to find a good place. I don't want to just take the first place. You know what I mean? The thing about Rick's was I didn't need Rick's. You know what I mean? Rick's needed me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it. And it's not like, oh, I asked the bartender, I asked the owner, sorry. When I first started, I said, what's your slowest night? Wednesday. I turned Wednesday in that 5 years from their slowest night to their most busy night. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want a place that is going to see that I can do that
Yeah.
and respect it so I can say whatever the hell I want on stage. I don't want to need a place.
You want a place that needs you.
I don't want to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do
understand.
comedy. I
Yeah.
want to be able to do comedy.
What? All right. Woonsocket, yeah, you can. That's a
That's
place.
what I'm saying.
What's an option? Well,
And
you
I
said
like
you got a
Woonsocket-
couple right now.
Well,
but
I like Woonsocket, so I was thinking maybe
don't have
like
to spill the beans
10,
or nothing,
10-mile
but-
radius, just because I have. The great thing about Rick's was I attracted people from not only Providence but Worcester as well,
Yep.
because it's so close, right off 146. You know what I mean? It's a
Highway,
half hour.
yeah, everything's
Yeah,
right
it's a
there,
half
yeah.
hour from Worcester. So a lot of Worcester guys would come down, and like that's another thing. Getting booked on shows, you make friends. Like Andrew Ballestieri, he used to live in Franklin, Mass. He used to come to Rick's all the time. Now he lives in Worcester. He's actually booking shows. He's starting his own comedy club out there. You know what I mean? So people like that, you get booked. But people like that, I would love when they came because it was like a treat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't see them all the time. He'd come down once every 3-4 weeks, and he'd murder the place
Yeah.
because he used to do it here, and now he's so much better. You know what I mean? Like you got
Yeah,
all
it's
sorts
like,
of
it's,
yeah.
not a headliner, but a guy, someone that's like fucking.
Andrew Ballestieri
reps
has
it.
headlining
Yeah.
capabilities, I do believe.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's very good, and he's just a character. You know what I mean? Like you would love to see him if you get a chance. Definitely, he's good. But like also people like Dan Martin. I'd give Dan Martin 15 minutes, and he basically developed his whole special that we recorded. He worked most of it out at Rick's.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to that because we'll get back to Woonsocket, and we were talking about the theater there.
Yeah.
That
Oh yes,
Stadium
you do a
theater.
lot
About
of
the
stuff
stadium.
there, but you guys were the masterminds behind the production of it, of Dan's special.
Yeah, I set up
Talk
the
about
seats.
that. No, I set up the seats.
He did everything else.
I mean,
We put up the yellow tape, put like that.
he literally did set up the scene stuff.
So, but first, I mean, you've been doing it. You had open mic since 2018. Dan's been around for
Yeah,
a long time.
he's like 60 or something.
How did you get? How did you get involved with him and able to do
Well,
this?
it
for
actually
him?
came down to Rick's one day. I saw him out at another show, and he was doing some pretty raunchy shit. And I said to him, I was like, "Hey man, you should come check out my fucking shitty open mic in Woonsocket. I'll let you do whatever the fuck you want." And he was a headliner, so I always try to suck up, suck a little dick, fondle a little,
We're gonna get
fondle
to
a little
all that
balls.
dick sucking, back scratching,
Right.
ass
So I'm
licking, all that
I give
stuff. So
I
we'll get
give
there.
good comedians. I'm not saying anyone that ever came to Rick's was bad,
Right.
but established comedians, like people that are like someone like Lee Syatt, who's been on a podcast, one of the biggest podcasts in the world with Joey Diaz, right? He's a headliner. I give him extra time, just like I give Dan Martin extra time. And it's not to snub anybody else, because everyone else gets a good amount of time. You get 7 minutes at Rick's. Most places you get 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm giving
It's
these
a long
guys
time, 7 minutes, right?
but I'm giving these guys 15 because they're trying to build an hour. So I'm giving them 1/4 of their hour. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's a good amount of time. That's motivation for them to come out and entertain my room.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's how I got involved with Dan. And basically, me and Soup and I over here started Legit Laughs
Right.
Comedy, LLC.
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 That's fucking awesome.
But because basically when he moved to the city, you got the job over at the Stadium Theater. Yeah, you can take it from here.
So, I started the job at the Stadium Theater, and in the first couple of weeks, they found out that I was a comedian, and they were like, "Oh, you got to figure out how to do something. We have this little room that you can
that's
use."
fucking
So the
wild.
Marquee Room was
Wow.
closed
Talk
for
about
years,
stepping
right? Because there was
into
asbestos
roses.
in it. So there was a
revamped it,
Yes.
and started doing they do drag shows there and spiritual mediums,
Yeah.
and we do little plays in there and stuff like that, like It's a Wonderful Life radio play or whatever. And so they would do these little tiny things, and they were looking to fill in time on Sundays, Thursdays, and Saturdays that they don't have booked for bands and stuff.
How hard was your penis when they asked you that?
Oh my God.
Ultra stiff.
He called me. He's like,
Ultra stiff.
"We got a room."
I was like, you have no, yeah.
"We had a man on the inside."
We finally made it, and it's
we
by me
chiseled
working
through.
at the place.
Fucking with the spoon. That spoon did it. We chiseled.
And it worked so well on the first one. We had
Ray Harrington, and it was a sweater, ugly sweater,
Now,
ugly
all
Christmas
right, let me
show.
ask you. All right, so they're asking you to do this. So it isn't like putting a fucking pub on the park. Fucking
No,
open
no,
mic.
this is a real
This
show.
is
to sell
you got
tickets.
money and
Yeah.
you have a budget and you can do
Right.
things, right?
Right.
Wow.
So,
that's
like,
fucking power. That's cool shit, right?
We
there,
have
right?
we have ROI lines, return on investment lines, that we had to reach so that we walked away with any sort of money at all, and I didn't have to pay anything out of
Yeah.
my pocket, kind of thing. Because in essence, we're renting the room.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And the only difference between me and somebody else wanting to rent the room is they kind of let me do the project that I want. I can't necessarily do
You're
all
also
the way that I
producing the
want.
whole thing, so
Yeah,
you're not
but I'm-
paying somebody to
Exactly.
do your job.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. And I can cover the cost by being myself in the position of sound guy.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
and
You're
And
putting
they-
in your
they-
time. Your time is,
Right.
maybe you'll get paid down the line, but
He
Exactly,
really proved himself at the Stadium Theater to earn this much trust from the
yeah,
players.
that's cool. That's
Right.
big.
Honestly, he is probably the best producer that's been there in however many years.
And
you know?
than the
you're
theatrical
producing a
So-
ton of stuff, right?
Well, I show run a bunch of things.
Okay.
I'm like an assistant technical director,
Okay.
so I do all the theatrical shows.
Like you did a Christmas Carol.
I did a Christmas
right?
Carol.
Yes.
I was the
I
sound
gotta
guy
go
for
there.
SpongeBob.
I've never been there. I gotta
It's
We'll get you.
honestly,
Find a show you want
I
to
gotta
see.
take a date.
yeah, find
there
a show
and
you
go
want to
check
see.
it out.
Hit him up. He can
All right,
maybe get you a
I'll let
couple.
you know.
Come.
Figure that out for
Definitely.
sure. So I'm doing a lot of in-depth work there with like literally every concert they have there. I'm tech crewing on it, and so getting to the point where they were like, "We know you're a comedian, and we have these dates. Do you want to try and fill one of them?"
Didn't you open? Who did you open for in the big room?
I definitely did.
It was like one of the best moments of his life.
Like,
I have the picture right here.
It wasn't like Tom Cotter. Was
I
it?
got that
Chris
tattooed.
Frangiola. I opened
Chris
for
Frangiola, yes.
Chris Frangiola. In a way funny turn of events. This is a punchline I'll give away. So I'm also the advancing agent for all the shows. So I have to call the production managers and be like, do they need a wireless microphone or a wired microphone?
that,
do they
yeah.
want a speaker? What kind of nuts do they want? And is it mine
Yeah,
or
exactly.
is
You
it
gotta-
peanuts,
yeah.
you know? And so I was calling him up trying to find out, is this guy bringing his opener? He tours with an opener, usually. And the agent was like, yes. And then the next time he was like, no. And then the agent was like, yes. And it's a couple of days away. So I call Chris on the day of the show. I'm like, hey, man, are you here? He's like, I got a little lost. I was like, all right, you and opener person come on in through this door. And he's like, I'm by myself, man. And I was like, oh. And he was like, my agent told me you guys were getting an opener.
Oh man.
Yeah, well, there you
And
go.
so at that point, he pulls up into the front of the stadium theater, and I go, do you mind if I hop in? And I hop in the seat with him, and I go, we're going around back to park you right in the loading dock so you can get out of here real quick.
Yeah.
And he goes, and so I guess you're my opener for tonight. I heard you were a comedian. And I was like, all right, dude.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
You know? So to the theater,
Yeah.
I saved the skin.
You know,
from
I'm really
them.
pissed that Soup wasn't like, do you want to make it a 3-man show?
We'll fill it
Call
all
it.
in.
That's
Call
fucking
me.
awesome.
His agent was like, "Thank you so much." He didn't know the logistics.
You got paid
of
for
what
that
was
too,
going
right?
on. No, I actually ended up doing that one for free.
Oh,
That
really?
was a
Wow,
free one,
whatever,
yeah.
dude.
It
How many
was
people
too
were in
last
the
minute.
Save the day.
How many people were in
Yeah, you felt
the
good about
theater when you
yourself.
did that?
It was a full 107.
Full house?
Full 107.
Hell
yeah.
yeah. That's
So-
worth it right there. That is,
Right?
dude, I would
That
do
is,
that for
right
free
there.
every day of my life.
Right?
You know
It
what I
was
mean?
good.
Like, for sure.
How do,
It was
how
a
do
lot
you
of
get
fun.
like people like?
I mean, my blessings. Thank you so much to whoever's out there, the greater powers that be. Thank you.
How do you like? Here's where I lack. Like I've been doing this podcast for a while. I go to the fights all the time. I don't hustle to get people to follow me and stuff like that. I don't like, oh, do this, you know. I don't work the crowds and blah, blah. Whip out your phone and stuff. You know, I do it here and there. Do you guys do that? And
So
if
there
you do
are
it, how do
comics
you
that
fucking
do.
it? Like, what do you do?
Not as
There
much
are
as I
comics that do. There are comics that do. They're like, all right, guys, I've been Corey Mayo. If you could, please take out your phones and follow me. I don't do that shit.
Okay.
Okay, but almost every show I do, I get new followers just from doing good.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I get it. Pandering like that could get you more followers, and you know what? It's probably a good business move. Okay, I'm not bashing anybody that does it. You're trying to do this for a living. You're trying to get the most followers you can. You're trying to not have a day job.
Yeah.
I get that.
Right.
I just feel annoying. I hate to be annoying.
That's the same thing as me. And it takes time. It's like, oh, they're gonna look for it. I'm like, all right, you know, never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to put people there. And you know what? Maybe you have to. You know what I mean? To build that.
You know, it
following.
really
I
is-
haven't learned it.
it's like-
I've been
it's
doing
like
this 8
either
years.
vibe.
I still haven't learned
Either
it.
vibe.
Kevin
And
Hart-
I should have been doing it forever and ever ago with all my projects, but I'm
Yeah.
just so bad at it. It feels.
Yeah, that's what
it
it
does
is.
feel kind of like pandering, and you try to make it easier and easier. At one point, I had like a QR code as a picture on my phone.
Yeah.
So it's like just take a picture of the QR
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you get a chance. Tap the thing. And
I don't
it'll,
even
like my
know
Instagram
how
or
to
whatever.
scan that code on my phone to fucking get it. So,
So, yeah.
So the same thing would happen. Exactly.
Yeah.
People would take a picture, and now they just got a random QR code picture in their phone.
But I mean, you look at Kevin Hart, who's the biggest comedian in the world. I mean, Chappelle's obviously the biggest, but I mean, second biggest probably Kevin Hart. And he used to just get people's. He would not let people leave unless they gave him his email address. Right? He would make a mailing list so that when he came back to that city, blast it out to everyone on the email. Now he's got
Smart.
double people coming back, triple people coming back. You know what I mean?
I don't have that in
Well, that
me
was
to
Dane
fucking
Cook did
hustle
the
like
same
that.
thing.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's
Dane
just
Cook
it's
and
the
MySpace.
laziness. We're trying to get out and smoke a joint as fast as we can.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Right.
You're fucking right. I don't have time to I got to get out. There's like the fight. It's in between fights here.
I have anxiety right now. I need to go smoke weed.
I have 16 minutes to get out there.
Exactly. I don't have time to fucking take out your phone and shit. Where I am, I get off and I'm more of getting people out there to get the followers. You know what I mean? I gain like followers here, like a couple here and there, and I build on that. But you know, some people get like 400, 300, like in like a month or something
yeah.
like that. But it's quality, not it's quality, not quantity, because
Exactly.
the same people like I'll look on my Instagram and I post off and on my Facebook, and it's the same amount, like, and maybe a couple more, a couple less, but I have that same loyal. You know, it's the same loyal
Those
ones.
are your actual fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone else is just a number. If they're not actually looking at your content, if they add you and then like unfollow you, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I always look at my followers sometimes. I'm like, oh shit, I'm following way more people than are following me. But I'm still, like 800. You know what I mean? That's not bad.
No, not
right?
at all.
That's
Not
when
at all.
when I post a fucking shitty joke, a shitty one-liner that's usually racist or sexist. You know what I mean? Like, those are the people that are going to see it.
You lose a couple.
You lose 3, but you gain 4.
Mine is up and down.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of it's bots. You know what I mean? They attach to you when you get a great post or something happens.
Yeah.
But
You see those people that make their own bots just to give themselves clout.
exactly, or some people buy the followers too. You
Right.
can
Oh,
also
yeah.
do that too. You see,
that.
like I've seen fighters in the past like have like 1,000 followers, and like a fucking 22,000 followers, and like a month and a half
Like,
later,
yeah,
I said,
those are all
there
bots.
is no way that happened. So you just went, that little guy that scammed you in your messenger asking, hey, you want more followers? You just paid him fucking $50 to get you. Or whatever.
I mean, $50
Right,
is
to get-
cheap.
Yeah, it is.
How
No, I
$50
don't
for
know.
20
It's-
grand?
yeah, it's probably a lot.
It's probably like a
$1,000.
dollar a piece at least.
Is that right?
It might be as much as that. But see, the thing is, so when Elon Musk bought Twitter and he got rid of like hundreds of thousands of bots, there were literally people that thought they were making money as influencers on Twitter that instantly had no
Lost-
followers.
is that what they just lost
They went down to
all
like 100 followers. Like, wait, what? All my shit was fake?
And it was, so it was all about the number. Like,
Right.
oh, I got this many,
Yes.
like, you know, for their spot. And then they actually, you're right. They
Well, so
have
if you can
nothing.
improve the views, I think that's how you get paid. So if you let's say you advertise for like an acne company or something like that, and you post something on your Instagram, you can see how many views that video got, and that's what that sponsor pays you off of.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, you have 1 million followers, but if 200,000 people saw that,
Yeah,
they're gonna pay you
exactly,
off that. You know?
Exactly. And that's kind of how it is, the ratio. I mean, you got it's almost like a quarter of your followers kind of respond to you or something like it. Maybe
You're
even
lucky
like
if
less.
it's only a quarter, yeah.
It could be
Like
an
10,
8.
15%.
Yeah. But you know, some of these people have like 4 million followers. You know, 10% of 4 million. That's a lot of fucking people checking in on every post. You know what I mean?
That's the game. It's all a numbers game. You know, it's just like Mikey Damone in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's a numbers game. You know what I'm saying? You put out the vibe to so many people, and eventually one of them wants to
I
fuck
always
you.
felt like
If, that is regular
some seltzer.
seltzer water. It's the only thing in the fucking thing.
Sparkling seltzer.
We got a
Sparkling
soda
seltzer.
machine.
All right.
It's for you guys.
Well,
If you run out of
appreciate it,
water,
appreciate
so
it. Well,
it's for you.
I ran out
I
of
had
Brisk-
I had
God
Brisk,
bless you,
baby.
Tyler Eldridge.
I had Emmy YK on here, and
Oh,
she
she's
was
hilarious.
scared to shit to open that. She didn't know. She goes, "What
thought you
is
should
this?"
Oh, well, she was here by herself, dude.
Yeah.
She thought you were gonna root her.
Let me just
get it.
dude, let me just tell you. I'm gonna give you something. Listen, Emmy King, sweetest girl. I knew she was so young. I'm saying, what is her parents letting her? She's in college on her own. Doing
Yeah,
her
she
thing.
goes
I'm
to
sure she's
Emerson
been-
for comedy.
I'm sure she's been in strange places before with fucking strange guys here and there. But anyway, she walked in, and you know I gotta lock the door behind me because there's a lot of offices.
Oh, you
and
locked
stuff.
it and you just.
So I showed her where the bathroom is. She was literally in there for like 8 minutes. I don't know if she was giving her coordinates to everyone.
Yeah.
She's texting
Everyone
everyone she
in
knows.
the
Send it.
world. I'm like, I felt bad. I'm
Location
like,
services
what is
on.
she? What is she doing? Is she taking a shit? I said, I felt bad. Why is she taking so long in there? And it had to be. She was probably like, I'm in here. I don't know if this guy.
I'm with a strange old man.
I don't know. What's going
He has
on.
condoms in his drawer right next.
So anyway, she was awesome. She was fidgeting with everything.
I
in
think
here.
Emmy's really funny.
Yeah,
I do. I think
she
she's
was really
good.
cool.
She
was
actually,
awesome.
when she'd come to Rick's, she'd tell jokes, and then like when she'd sort of sexual jokes, and then when the guys would laugh at it, she'd be like, "Thank you, middle-aged men."
yeah, exactly. I think fucking everybody like,
Yo, she's funny.
maybe we shouldn't
I think she's
laugh.
really funny.
you know, what did I do? She said something, and I went, well, I said, you're attractive. She go, and then she got all like, she roasted me a little bit about, she's like, oh my, and then she said, that's me up there.
Yeah, you look sexy as fuck up
Well,
there,
that's
dude.
not what she said. She said I look like, I look like Adam Levine on heroin.
Well, I can see that too.
Yes,
All right,
I can
all right,
too.
all right.
That's the fucking problem. Don't be honest.
Listen, I'm a Rancid
be
fan. You look
honest.
like a Rancid fan as well. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you look like you could be in a cologne commercial.
Dude, that's
If I saw him at a Scott
but-
show,
That's the
But
best I can
it's
ever
not
look
like
right
a
there.
real
You know what I mean?
good
That's
cologne,
it right there.
That looks
And
like a
the
JCPenney catalog
The
over
best
there.
I can ever look is fucking Adam Levine on heroin. Just thinking about that.
there are worse things to be, I guess.
I guess.
You know?
Oh my God. Someone just asked. Mark asked. Corey, how many nips have you? If I knew he smoked,
How many nips have
listen,
I had?
if I knew they
Smart.
drank beer
4.
and did nips, I would have bought
4
them.
nips.
I would have bought all that shit.
This is
for
4
ice cream.
nips.
Oh, Tyler.
Someone said
Tyler
5.
predicted 5.
5.
No.
I would have brought them.
I got
did
more in
nothing.
my car. I could go grab one.
Go get it.
All right. We'll do
All right,
5,
we'll
baby.
take-
I locked
take
the
the
door.
moment.
Here,
Take the keys.
take that key. Don't
Go
break
there. I'm
it.
going to take this time to self-promote.
Yes, here we go. Here we're gonna talk about everything, man. Let's self promote.
Yeah.
So what's going on? All right. You guys help. We'll talk about Dan Martin's special.
Okay, yeah,
We're
yeah.
helping him out because he
Yes.
had that. I know it was like maybe I had him and Leon here,
Yeah.
and I think he was doing the special the following month. How did all that go? And
So,
where can you get that? Because you guys, helped out with that.
yeah. So, I executive produced it. Corey and Dan produced it. And basically all that means is I had to put the actual money down, and then they used all their money to pay for everything.
Okay.
So instead of getting a paycheck, they paid for production costs.
Okay.
And I upfronted money to cover everything else beyond that.
And it's an investment in yourself, kind
Right,
of. Both,
exactly.
You know what
So we have Legit Laughs Comedy on Legit Laughs Productions on YouTube. That's where Dan's special is up right now. If you go onto Dan's Facebook or his Instagram, you can easily find a link to it.
Yeah, I
there
would
as
imagine,
well,
yeah.
You know, and so basically the whole idea behind that was that we want to make it so that we can do this repeatably with people in the theory of like the old Comedy Central half hours and the HBO hours and even up until Dry Bar Now kind of thing, where we give the platform to make the content, whatever it may be, almost always comedy in this
Yep.
case. But if you can sell the tickets, you can get a free recording of your set with more than one camera, with a professional audio feed off of the mixing board.
Nice.
And then we'll stitch it together and turn it into your hour-long special.
That's fucking awesome. Where'd you learn that? Like, where
it's-
you talk about production and, you.
Way back
how'd
in
you
the
do that?
day.
Did you go to school? You just learned
I
on your own
didn't.
kind of shit?
So
thing?
this is where our worlds are going to collide in a whole nother way.
here we go.
Is back in the day, I used to follow bands around with a video camera and do like behind the scenes videos for bands.
On your own? Did you know the bands? Did
I
they
would-
ask you to do it? Or
I would ask them.
Okay.
I'd be like,
cool.
hey, I know you from this show that I went to because like I like this band Senior
Yeah.
Discount, and I would meet other bands too. So I asked the guys in Senior Discount if they ever needed any help with this kind of thing.
Of course,
the
fucking
Candace
bands
Brooks
want,
band.
Bands want pictures and fucking
Right.
video of themselves. And
Exactly.
Shit, yeah.
Any extra B-roll
Yeah.
to make content in the early days of content. And so I kind of got to see how things were moving around. And then I hooked up with this guy to do video production stuff with him for his rap studio. And his rap studio wasn't taking off, so he got us jobs working with another fight company called CES that does the stuff down.
CSMMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a show this Friday in Foxwoods.
Yeah. Dude,
I used to be media for them, or like
Oh, no
doing.
shit.
Yeah, I know tons of their fighters. Actually, I know a ton of their fighters fighting Friday.
Oh, no
that are
shit.
friends of mine. Yeah.
no shit.
Yeah.
So that's how close we are.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
exactly.
Rhode
That's
Island,
fucking awesome
you know?
that you were
So
helping
I'd-
them out. Yeah.
We pitched to them that we would give them a couple of free projects with the fighters and a couple of the fight shows, and then they may or may not sign us on. For it.
Okay.
So I got to like dive into that. I did a couple of fighter profiles
Oh,
and stuff for like
nice, nice.
Sweetbread.
Yeah,
Paiva.
Dennis Paiva. Yeah, my buddy.
and
Dennis is cool.
a couple other people, and they even let me do a couple of their commercials for a little while, which was
Nice.
awesome. And so I really like
Back
took all my,
then when you were doing it, do you remember the network they were on? Was it not Spike? Oh, I forgot, but they were on
I don't
something.
remember. Yeah,
But they had
it
exclusive
might have
rights
still
with
been
somebody.
Nesson actually.
Was it Nessa? Maybe.
Maybe.
If you're going way back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is like 2010,
Maybe.
2011.
Yeah. Oh,
you
that's
know what I
way
mean?
back. Yeah.
So in the early days when they were still doing all their press releases at the pub, you know what I
Find your
mean?
nip? What's going on? Did you drink it already?
I was looking for beers in my car.
I would have went for a couple
I
beers,
thought I had a couple
man.
Coronas. In,
I wish I
my
had.
back seat
I didn't
and
know.
in my
Like
trunk.
sometimes
Yeah.
people come and I fucking,
happens.
Emmy YK's watching.
Oh, is she?
shit.
Yeah.
I said I love her.
Mr. Adam Levine heroin addict. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, throughout all that, I really refined these very rudimentary video editing skills and stuff. You know,
Right there. There's your camera.
this is you. That's 5. We're making it 5.
That's
5.
that's gonna be the clip we
Give
put
us-
out for fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
For sure.
Alcoholic comedian Corey Mayo appears in the Room podcast.
If I knew you were an alcoholic, I would have bring a 12-pack.
He
in
would have
here.
helped. I
fucking-
mean, I
next
thought it was in my
time.
bio.
Next time. Next time. And here's the thing. Also, I usually do. I always have beer in here because Tommy, my co-host, is a podhead and he likes beer.
Okay.
But we usually start at 8:00. So I said we're gonna start at 6. I don't want to be bombed by
Who
8
drinks
o'clock.
at 6? Fucking
I thought the
losers.
saying was 5 o'clock somewhere.
love it.
Come on.
I
Fucking
love it.
alcoholic.
So anyway, excuse that I don't have beer is because I didn't want to start drinking at 6. I wanted to last till. At
I didn't
least
know if
10.
it was kosher to bring beers. That's why I brought nips so I could
Oh,
sneak
well,
them.
we're gonna have
And
to
then I
do
saw
it-
you grab the Miller, and I was like, all right.
Well,
we gotta do that.
next show we're gonna have to fucking have a keg in here.
Yeah,
Maybe
actually,
that.
At least a log.
Jimmy James
something
gave me a 30 rack of beer for helping him move.
Oh shit.
Yeah, a couple of actually Mark McGuinn, who's watching in here right now, and Adrian Morse. We all moved Jimmy James, and yeah, you know I don't eat pork, right?
No.
I'm Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah, Jewish and Muslim, and
I thought
I'm like the Gaza Strip over
I
here.
do not see. I don't see any of that in you. But
I'm just kidding. I was vegetarian for a couple of years, and when I reintroduced meat,
really. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Fucking,
Wild, right?
fucking
mostly
forest? What the
mostly
hell is
just
going on?
cheese
Look at 'em.
pizza. Mostly.
Oh, okay. I forgot Joe wasn't fucking meat. There you go. Fucking 10 pounds of
Mostly cheese
pasta.
pizza. Yeah.
No, I was eating like salads every day and shit like that, and I was just not eating meat. Basically, it was like a way that I could, because I do HVAC, so I drive around in a van all day, and it's all fucking fast food all the time. And it's how I stopped eating fast food. I'll go to like Whole Foods or like Dave's Marketplace and get like
I
a
understand,
salad
yeah.
bar type shit. And so I was vegetarian for about 2.5 years, and then I stopped being vegetarian and I reintroduced meat. But every time I eat pork, it gives me like E. coli symptoms, right? So it makes
What kind
me
of symptoms? Oh,
it
he's
makes
gonna
me
tell us.
makes me very, very sick. It
Like
makes me
shit
puke
sick? Like
and
what?
shit.
All
Yeah,
right, yeah.
puke and shit, and you know what I mean, like
Okay.
physically ill.
Okay.
So I can't eat pork.
Weird.
Okay.
I did
I,
not.
thought
know
I
that.
thought you knew that.
No, I
about
didn't
me.
know
Okay,
that.
so
No.
maybe some of my friends don't know that about
No
me.
pork fried rice
But
for you.
Jimmy James, he got us pizza for helping move, and I know I have jokes about it. He knows I don't eat pork. Fuck you, Jimmy James. Anyways, he gets sausage and pepperoni, and then like mushroom and bacon, and I'm like, nice. And he's like, well, you can just have the beer then. I was like, oh, it's because I'm an alcoholic, right? He knows this beer is gonna
He
go to
knows how
good
to do
cause.
it.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it.
You're happy.
30
It's
rack
like-
of Miller Lite though, I can't complain.
No, you can't.
I brought it to the Super Bowl party.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a free rack for the party. It
Yes.
works.
All right, so wait, all right. You're a veg for what was the first thing you had on your journey back?
So first thing I had was a beautiful ribeye steak.
How, was that? Did it cave you in, or did you
Oh, actually,
decide
no.
I'm gonna go have meat tonight?
I'm sorry. The first thing back, it was March. It was St. Patty's Day, and my mom made a fucking smoked corned beef on the smoker outside.
Like the
Okay.
old days.
Oh yes, she made it on the smoker. We have like a it's not a Traeger, it's a Pit
There's
Boss.
Slim Jims here.
Killing me.
There's some pork. Is there any pork in that?
I think there is pork in that.
I think there is. Yeah,
I'm
beef,
almost
pork.
positive.
I
I'll
use
eat
these
it
as
for
dog
you.
treats. That's what I use these
Do you?
as.
I mean,
Yeah.
they basically are.
My daughter lives on them things.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, she fucking.
I give them to dogs when I'm in houses.
That's why she's barking now. I don't know.
You know, when I'm in houses that like have, when the dogs come up to me, I'll just give them a piece of a Slim Jim.
Oh, it tastes just like I remember. It tastes like
It's
high
fucking
school.
not-
right there.
dude, listen. If
Yeah,
I ate one of
brother.
those, I
No,
would
no,
be
wait,
that
that's right.
night. I'd be shitting that for 2 days,
Oh,
like
it's
just
gonna
little
hurt
bits
later.
of it. My ass.
Do you
would
know
be on
what?
fire.
You know what I just learned the other day? You're actually supposed to peel the red layer off the Slim Jim because that's actually just wax.
It's good though.
Go ahead.
It's just
Got the
wax.
snap.
That's what makes you
That's
poop.
where you
It's
get the
wax.
whole fucking saying.
I know.
Go ahead, snap into it.
Fuck.
How are you supposed to even like?
I don't know.
do
This is
that?
what I heard. I don't know if it's a fake news.
I feel like
I've
that.
done that.
I think it was
see what you
TikTok.
mean.
I mean,
It's
I've done
it
it.
almost feels like fucking like
but
wax paper.
but
It's
they
wax.
call
When you
So they
rip
dip it
up.
in wax. Yeah.
Oh, hold
But-
on. We're doing an investigation.
You are.
here.
Are you
Put
peeling
that
it off?
right-
Look
where's
how
your-
easy it's peeling off.
There's your camera right there.
You're supposed to do
Show
that.
that.
That's the Slim Jim skin.
I would do that too and eat that fucking plastic.
I mean,
right now.
That's what you're supposed to
Honestly-
do. I heard that's what you're supposed to do.
Does it disintegrate?
It doesn't disintegrate that much. This is why there's flakes in my shit after I Slim Jim.
This is why little chunks are in my shit for 2 days. of
Right,
that
is
fucking
because of
little
this
thing. All right.
waxy skin here.
We are not.
right, look at that.
All right, look at.
Does it taste better without
Fucking
it?
Corey, you're onto something here.
It does. It doesn't snap anymore.
It doesn't
But
snap.
doesn't it? It tastes a little like
does.
almost like it's been chewed a little bit, almost. Right?
So this is the thing. So since I've been
We're finding things out.
since I've been back into meat, right? I can't eat hot dogs because even if they're all beef hot dogs, most of them have a pork casing, which will make me shit
Casing.
my brains out.
Maybe that's what this is.
Yes,
Just casing.
the casing. But
Yeah, you're right. That could be. But
Kale.
no, I
So
think
So
that's
does that make
wax.
this a sausage?
technically, I think it is a
It
sausage.
is a sausage? All right.
Slim sausage.
Awesome. We're all over the fucking Slim Jim.
All right, let's talk about Cage Titans. You need to fucking come with me.
March.
Well, we were talking
March-
about
March
fighting.
30th and March 29th. Big event. The two guys that I was sitting with, the fighters,
Yeah.
that were at the after party when I was talking
Okay.
to
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
They had won that night. Piersman, they're both fighting. Piersman's the main event. He's fighting
Okay.
for the title. He was there with all his family. All the people who
Okay.
were like sitting in that area, that was all his people from
Yes,
New York.
and you know, I know not to talk any shit. I don't even say anything. Anything
Go
that can
ahead.
be construed.
Talk mad shit.
No, not at the after party. Not at the after party. These motherfuckers are ready to fight again.
Did you see that? That was awesome. Were you there when you saw that? Fucking Joe Giannetti and fucking. All right.
No, but that thing. All right, so I love having friends that do all sorts of different things. You know, like Andy K. I know him as a comedian, but the first time I ever saw him announce at Cage Titans, I was blown away.
It was like a different person, right?
It's not quite a different person. It's a different dynamic
Yeah.
of the same person. Because I know how in your face Andy K is, but I didn't realize that skill transferred to an in the ring fucking announcer.
Right.
Like he's like one of the greats. You watch him and he's sitting there and he's got the card right there and he's reading all these guys' stats and he's hyping them up and he's like, he's from Bolton, Massachusetts. Give it up for whoever the fuck, you know what I mean?
Whoever
And
the fuck.
But no, but the energy he brings, it gets the entire crowd going. There, especially if it's a hometown hero, especially if it's someone that the favorite, the place will go nuts, dude. And I'm sitting there like I'm watching my boy have this much power.
Yeah.
Like it's like having ultimate big dick energy. It's like being that guy.
He's got a big dick. Man.
Yeah,
That fight
I've
is
seen it.
big
It's been in my
fucking
mouth,
Dick,
okay?
man.
It's-
fucking big dick. So Andy, he's a huge part of Cage Titans. He also
and he cleans up nice.
He also does. Yes, he does. I gotta
I
say
didn't
one thing.
expect
I'm
that.
glad he cut his hair. I like him better with the short hair. Well, not the dreads. I like him.
Yeah.
Looking like a ring announcer, a little more formal. But he also does the Table Titans on Mondays.
Yep.
He does the podcast with the owner,
He also
Mike.
does the commentating on the live stream.
Exactly.
As well, yeah.
He's doing the commentary. Then he runs up in the cage and he announces the fights. But he does so much behind the scenes. He's like Mike's, go-to guy. Like
Yes.
if Mike forgets something.
So
or
I did
Andy's
meet
there
Mike
to-
for the first time
Yeah.
at the after party. Actually, I wasn't formally introduced, but I seen him and I was like, "Hey, man, that was a great fight. Good job. Thank you for doing this." You know what I mean? And that was just in
Yeah.
passing. Yeah, I was actually right after I saw you.
Yeah.
But it was in passing. But I feel it from Andy, like the way Andy is there. He came up to see. I randomly bumped into Terrence McCormick, who's another comic. He's out of Worcester. But he was there, and I was looking for a seat, and I saw these people leave, and I go down to sit, and I'm sitting right next to Terrence, right? Who he had also got tickets from Andy.
Okay.
So we're there together now, and Andy comes up. He sees us in the crowd. He comes up at the intermission, and these little kids that are there, right? There's these couple it's twin boys, right? And they're up there in the VIP box, right in the mezzanine, and they are getting everyone's autograph. Any fighter that comes by and they stop Andy, they're like, "This is one of our favorite guys. This is one of our favorite guys, yo." And Andy signed like 5 autographs for him on like gloves and on balls and on posters. And I got a couple of pictures of Andy signing autographs, and I was like, "Dude, did that happen all the time?" He's like, "That's the first time that's ever happened." I just randomly signed a bunch of autographs.
Here's also what's happening in Cage Titans. Every show, it's getting bigger and bigger. Oh yeah. So little things that never happened before happen every
when I went in the
show
summertime,
now.
it was crazy. Yeah. Oh my God, there was so many fucking people there, dude. And there was no room at all. I couldn't find a seat anywhere. It was standing room only.
Yeah.
And it was packed in the back. Like, so you're in the Plymouth, what is it, Town Hall?
Memorial Hall.
Plymouth Memorial Hall, right? I always think like Benjamin Franklin was here back in the day, being like, black people, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Lightning,
double G's. I never called it that before, but now double G's that's a good thing. Yeah. You say double G's here. That's fucking good.
But double G's. Yeah. But it's like an arena style seating. It's horseshoe of 3 rows of seats going up. It's 3-tiered. It's massive. It's huge.
Amazing.
Really? Yeah, and how big is the octagon?
Sound and that. What's that?
How big is the octagon? It's like a 6 foot, 8 foot.
That one's, I don't know how big. It's smaller than a big one.
It's not,
but it's not the smallest in the region here.
It's still a decent size. You haven't seen good fight in it.
I mean,
see a good fight.
A lot of fighters, when they're in there, the more veteran fighters, they think it's small. But if you're in there for the first time, and one of me and you are in there, around it, we think it's pretty fucking huge.
But like, I mean, you got enough room to do ground game. Yeah, you got enough room to put someone on the cage. You know what I mean? You got enough room in that to fight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But it's not the biggest stage. But it is a good view. No matter where you're sitting, it's a great view.
Definitely,
it's a great view. You know what I mean? I honestly, the first time I was there, I was up on the top, and you could see. Right into the cage.
Into it.
No
you're
cage.
Right in, You're looking right down at it. It's awesome. Yeah.
It's dude, I'm telling you guys.
And then you're level with it, and one layer, you're like level with the
so
cage.
With the mezzanine, we were at the mezzanine, so I was still looking through the cage, but it was like the fight was like right in front of me, dude. I was like 4 rows back.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And then when you're sitting around it, I mean,
obviously
it's fucking
you're kind of
awesome,
looking up at the fight a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's good. Yeah, but it's good. It's a mad time, and it's a show that will give you the experience of the big show at a smaller scale. But if you go to a UFC or Bellator or PFL or one of these big events, Cage Titans puts it on just like them, just at a smaller scale. But the production, the beauty, the crowd, the fucking energy, and what they do for the fighters, and just the atmosphere, what's going on, and the teleprompters and the fucking
they have the instant replays.
You're like, what the hell?
Replays up there.
How can you do this as a fucking local? Because Mike Pulver, as far as they're my favorite promotion. Mike Pulver, out of all the promotions,
they've been doing it for what, like 10, 15 years?
Oh yeah. Gives back to the fighters. He makes money at it, but he's not looking to ring every dime. He gives back, and that's why everyone goes to fight for them.
All the fights that I've seen have been pretty evenly matched, like pretty well balanced fights. It's not like, obviously you have a favorite in every fight, but sometimes it's like, all right, I've seen guys go, halfway through one round and out, right? But usually there's like undercards, whatever. But when it gets to like the later in the fights, you usually have multi-round, really well-balanced fights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it's not someone's first fight or something like that, if it's not a college kid versus a college, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't know what's going to go on.
You got guys with multiple fights, multiple wins, multiple losses. They're usually pretty evenly keeled. And it's a
lot of that's changed in the past few years too.
Yeah.
In the past, it was the home guys would always get fed the people with not the great records. That's understandable if you're making your pro debut. You got to get that that kind of experience making the pro debut. At this point, some of these kids are making their pro debut fighting other studs in the area. They're making their pro debuts or real tough fighters. It's changed now, and
everyone's doing MMA now.
Yeah,
too.
And I think it's a lot has to do with a lot of this region getting to the next level and not performing as well as they did here, and kind of humbling the area a little bit to make. Listen, we got to fucking train harder. We got to change something up because we're getting killed up there. and I think a lot of has to do with the opponents they had coming up. Now they're fighting killers to get them ready there. And I think it's changing tides now. I think it's more about not necessarily getting there. It's necessarily once getting there, being able to stay there.
Yes,
Because before it used to say, I was in the UFC, I get there. But
people
now,
hop up from these productions all the time to the UFC. Yeah.
You're going to, a couple might from this next card, Cage Titan 64, might be in the show by the end of, or the middle of 2024.
Yeah,
so.
me and my girlfriend, we really love it. And you know what? I didn't think, I'd never been to, I've been to like pro wrestling, but like on a local scale. Right. You know what I mean? I'd been to like that stuff before. I'd never been to a fight. One of my buddies, actually, Josh Martin from Woonsocket, what up, buddy? He had like a backyard fight during the pandemic, and that was like the closest thing. And I didn't even go to it. I just watched it live. You know what I mean? Like on the stream. And that was like the closest thing I'd been to like a real fight. And then going to this, it's like a whole nother world. Like you see someone the first round, they'll get like a spinning back kick and they'll be bleeding on their face for the next 3 rounds. You know what I mean? They're just pouring blood all over the octagon. It's awesome. Wicked awesome. You see some guys that do a standing game. You know what I mean? Some guys will be taking people to the ground. Like what was that? They had the older belt. The older.
Oh yeah, the old. What
was it called?
The
old fucking farts or whatever.
What was it? Yeah, but it was.
I'm fucking around.
What do they
It's
call
like the
it?
Golden League. What was it? Like Golden Belt?
The old man belt or something like that. Old guy belt. The old guy belt.
I forget what it was
like
called.
that.
I forget what it's called, but it was two
Yeah,
fighters.
it was the OG belt.
The OG,
but
the
it
OG.
wasn't original
Old guy,
gangster.
that's-
It was
yes.
it was meant for the old
old
guy
guy.
belt. So you had a couple of guys in there, late 40s, 50s.
Yeah, so the guy who's
fighting
51.
MMA.
Yeah, the guy who's like
Yeah.
44-year-old versus 50-year-old. And like, honestly, if they didn't tell me that, I wouldn't
They're
have
legit
guessed.
I mean, they've been
You know what I mean?
fighting and stuff like that, but they're just
I
way
would
up there
not
in
have
age.
guessed. Yeah.
And they had these guys, and like he's saying, he wouldn't have guessed they were this age.
Yeah, no way. And the guy was like, he like stood on the cage and he was making a speech. He's like, I didn't think I'd ever win a belt at 50 years old. And I was like, this guy's 50?
The shreds.
Yeah.
The fucking shreds.
In better shape than I've ever been in my entire life.
So rumors have it. So are you going to go to the next card? Or
I'm going to try. Yes. So it all depends on
and you
logistics.
mentioned you've been to past cards too.
Yeah.
of
So
Cage Titans.
this was my second one the time I just went.
Have you been to other shows other than Cage Titans, or
No,
just
I have
because
not.
Andy's?
Yeah, because
me and
Andy's my
Andy
boy. He
know
got
that.
me in. You know what I mean? And
Best show to see though.
Oh
so
yeah,
you're
it's
right.
great.
You're
It's
in the
great.
right hands. But rumors have it that I might be fighting in July.
Oh.
In an exhibition.
In the OG?
In the it might be an OG fucking thing, because I'm a little older than that, 50-year older.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Do a little exhibition, go in the distance.
So one of their a friend of mine and also a big friend of Cage Titans who does a lot of charity stuff for them. He gets people to come and buy front row tickets. He does like a pre-show, pre-event at like a
restaurant or something.
Yeah, something like that. And then he has
Like Andy does sometimes with
and he has
coops.
a ton of people
Yeah.
that
Not
get
coops.
front row tickets, and he gives some away. So anyway, he called me out to raise for a charity, for a Cage Titans charity, to fight in July in a kickboxing exhibition.
Nice.
We're probably gonna kiss and dance and shit. There'll probably
Yeah.
be no
It's you
actual punching
versus
or nothing. But
you versus Andrew Tate, right?
yes. Well, here's what I think is gonna happen. We're gonna get a week out of the fight, and he'll pull out, and they'll put me against someone that will kick the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, they could.
they could.
No,
yeah.
it's for charity.
That's the way that it's fun.
It's for charity.
We'll go in there in wheelchairs if we have to. But that is a rumor, because if it is for charity, we're gonna get going. But we'll be having headgear on, everything.
You said it's kickboxing. It's not gonna be full.
Kickboxing and punching a little bit. Big gloves. I think they're like pillows and shit like that. So it's all good.
pillows.
But it's gonna be for charity.
That's gonna be fun.
It'll be
5
fun.
ounces.
And that'll be at
Sure.
Cage Titans?
It'll be at Cage Titans in
Oh,
July.
maybe I'll have to go to that one.
We'll have to. It's in the works. We'll see.
During
what happens.
dance season for me, but I'll do what I can do.
I'm trying to get you there.
I don't want to like overshadow the next 2 cards coming up with my fame and shit like that.
Right.
But I could be on the
Host of the Room Podcast, now fighting in a pillow fight.
They hate me
In a pillow
Listen, as
fight.
far as we'll go on from this in a minute. But Cage Titans, I've had a huge history with, love and hate history, because I'm kind of the mouth here. I'm like a comedian
Without being a comedian.
Without being
That's
a
actually
comedian.
what
I'm
Soup said to me outside. He's like, and he's not a comedian? I was like, he's not.
Yeah, I'm sarcastic as fuck.
Technically.
But yeah, I would love to get up there someday, but I would probably have to be on mushrooms and about 4 beers and everything.
Yeah,
else.
if Rick's was still around, I'd say we got a spot for you.
Get up
buddy.
there.
Got you going.
But I do it here, so.
Yeah.
But I forgot my train of thought.
Cage Titans.
Forget it. Let's move on.
All right.
Lost.
All right. What should we move on to?
Let's move on to anything coming up for you as far as putting on another show. Something you got.
We
going.
do have a show coming up.
Listen, how
do.
how my memory kicks in.
Right?
When we're
Right when it
outside. You
needs
mentioned
to.
So
something.
what
let's
what
talk
is
about
the
that.
date for that show?
I'm looking it up right now. 'Cause
Location,
I don't
date,
It's gonna be
and
it's
what's
gonna
it-
be at the Stadium Theater in
That's
the
gonna
marquee
be
room.
my first fucking
Yes.
show there.
So
How
we
about that?
want
I'm gonna
to.
see.
So
How about that?
what we're
Yeah.
trying to do
All
with
right.
this room, since we did
Maybe we'll get you a
we did
concert
the special with Dan, what we're trying to do with this room is we're trying to showcase local talent here, right? And Dan is basically the ultimate headliner local comedian, right? We have a couple friends who might not be headliner status, but definitely have made their mark enough to deserve some sort of due, and particularly people without any sort of online presence or anything like that. We're trying to help out our friends. We're actually going to be filming Stevie Collins.
Yeah.
And what date was that?
That is September 15th.
That's my birthday.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
It's 2 days before my
But
birthday.
that's a long ways away.
It is.
But I'm gonna go to something else before
Yeah,
that.
you
But
got to come to a good concert.
That's my fucking birthday, man.
Oh wow,
That's
better
perfect.
than that.
That's perfect.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you should come by.
I will.
Honorary guest.
I'm
over
definitely
here.
gonna be
Right.
there for my birthday.
Hell yeah.
That'd be
But we're
sweet.
gonna have Stevie. Stevie's known for doing sort of like a zany character.
Yeah.
He really is. He's an electrician that's been hit with 3-phase too many times.
Oh yeah. Is his hair still stand up or, like on its
His
own
hair
now?
stands up
Oh, he has
somewhere.
none. Somewhere.
No, I think everything went in. It shot in. He's
But
That's awesome.
you think he's crispy fried, and then you're like,
That's
oh,
fucking awesome.
he is crispy fried.
he's internally fried.
Yeah,
No, but he's a really funny guy, and he's one of my good friends. So we're hoping to get a good film of him. And Soup's gonna be hosting that night since it's so close to his birthday, and we're probably gonna have a couple other comics on, mostly probably white males.
Right.
So it's gonna be a good show.
Standard
No
show.
double G's.
stuff,
No
you
double
know?
G's happening.
I mean, we try to mix it up every once in a
all
while.
the time now.
We do try to
I'm
mix
gonna
it
get
up.
my ass kicked.
We're looking for a woman, but we can't find a funny one.
Right.
No.
It's
Not too many. I would
I'm
imagine.
fucking around.
It's kind of the same thing in the fighting community. It's hard to get the women to fight. There's too many.
Actually, I think I've only seen with that last one. Did they have a woman fight? No, I think the one before I was at, they had
I don't
two
know.
women fight.
Yeah, no, the last one.
The last
no.
card, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't. Yeah.
The last fight I went to was like over a decade ago. So
Will you be
So
going
I get-
to one soon?
yeah, I gotta.
He's got to go to
Either
one.
July.
I gotta go to one now.
Do you think Olivia would like seeing people get beat up?
We've talked about it.
It's fun.
I think she's gonna.
My
be
girl
more
gets horny as
surprised.
hell
We
afterwards.
talked about watching people get beat
We've
up.
watched some clips online. We've experimented.
Listen, when you see in public, in
wanna
live
go.
space,
And just
men
the atmosphere,
displaying
just
testosterone,
fucking
it
nuts.
makes me a little hard. I'm like,
Right.
oh shit.
Crazy.
and I think that she's worried about the it's gonna be scary or it's gonna be gross. And I was
No,
like,
you're not close
in
enough to
person,
get that. You're
and
not
in
close enough to
person,
get that.
you're feeling more of the vibe than
Yeah.
you're seeing blood.
If you're
and shit.
right at the cage, you're gonna see it. If you're
Right.
you're not gonna see all that.
Right.
I mean, if someone's bleeding on their face, like an
Yeah.
eyebrow bleeding, you see
see
that,
it.
but you're not seeing the blood splatter. When he gets
Right,
hit.
and I think it's more of am I gonna see the elbow go the wrong way or is
So,
the eyeball gonna pop
someone
out?
got their arm
Maybe.
broke.
Yes.
Yeah, someone got their arm broke.
Possible.
Yeah.
Somebody
So,
got their.
I'm hoping the,
whole shoulder.
Yeah, so that
vibe.
was that was one of the fights on that last
Testosterone
card.
is going
So
in
I forget who it was, but I remember the guy. It was a super quick fight. He had him grappled and he had him behind. I thought that guy was winning, and all of a sudden, boom! Dislocated
Snap.
his shoulder.
Yeah.
But
right.
see, then that's the kind of I don't think that
It was wicked
Yeah,
cool
you
though.
don't know,
It was
though.
so
Like,
cool.
unless-
that
you're
that
right
looks
there.
a little floppy.
Yeah,
It was
that's
so cool.
it. That's all
You
you'll
guys
see.
look-
It's
Right.
like
He's sitting
flopping
there
a little
holding
bit.
his arm like this,
Yeah,
waiting for the ref to
I
do
usually
that.
have to watch the
By
clip
that,
of
you know what I
that
mean?
kind of
Yeah,
shit online
exactly.
2-3 times before I'm like, oh yeah.
When that's
I know
happening,
what
just
that
go,
means.
hey, look. Hun,
Right.
look,
That's when you go get a
And
beer.
I don't
Yeah,
even
exactly.
think
You
that it
go
would
get a
be an
lightweight
issue.
lager.
Go get that $12
I
beer.
think that the vibe would be so intense into the fight feel.
You know what's
that,
cool
you
when I
don't
was
even
doing
know.
media for them because I would bring in I get there 4:30 before everyone else just walk in. I still walk in like that too, but I don't take my gear or my cape.
Yeah.
I just have nips, all of my fucking 10 nips in there, and I fucking just They have free soda in the back, so I just
Nice.
fucking
Make a mix
Bacardi and Coke back there.
Nice. Yeah. Fuck it.
But now I just walk in with blunts and a vape pen. So
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about it too. They do search you, but I've smoked outside every time I've been there.
yeah, they don't
Yeah.
search.
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope nobody's watching. Speaking of which, I'm gonna grab my vape.
Yeah.
Oh, we should probably wrap this up soon.
Yeah,
So-
we've been going an hour and a half, but let's wrap it up with. So you just had you said you were talking about some things you're going to take a little time off, a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah, a couple
Get
weeks. I'm
things
gonna
going.
look for a
Well,
quality
will-
spot.
Will we be seeing you again
Oh yeah.
hosting your own?
For
open
sure.
mic? So-
Whether it's an open mic or like a showcase style show,
Okay.
I'm going to be hosting something soon.
Okay. Can you let me know and I will be there. I would love to go
for sure.
because
Absolutely.
I definitely want to start networking with some of your inner guys
And you know what?
I wanna- I wanna
Comics are a
do
lot of
this
fun
in-
to have on podcasts.
Yeah, I want to
you know?
do this. Once
And comics like
once,
fights, too. We'll watch
once,
fights with you.
once a week or once every 2 weeks. I want to get a night where it's devoted to comedians or something
Yeah,
like that. Talking
that's a
about
good
shows
idea.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just I've had interest, but I just don't have enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I don't know how to weed out people just coming off the street who just
Right.
want to come on here and just
All
like,
right,
rant.
don't
So-
book Mark McGuinn.
Yeah.
Don't book. No.
So I'm gonna,
Actually,
I
Mark would
had
probably be a great
I
guest.
had
Mark
Pete
would
Lee
be.
on here. I had Dan on here, and I asked him if you know people that you want to hand, that would probably be good on the podcast.
Yeah.
Get him on here. Emmy, from when I made the post on Facebook, I made a post to the group page I shared
Right.
here, the open mic night. I got a bunch of response, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was trying to weed out, and I got way too much response. I didn't have, I'm like,
Well,
man,
I
that-
mean,
time.
Andy
and then
is a good judge of
Andy
character.
kind of
Yeah.
gave me a little,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
lever, and I had Emmy, who was great, B. Lee and Dan.
Yep.
And then I think I had Trevor Martin on.
Dion?
Trevor Dion?
Trevor Dion.
Yes.
He was my first guy, I think. I
Oh
had
yeah,
on,
he's a lot of
which was
people's
cool.
first.
True.
That's awesome.
True. And now we're finally talking
But he
about the
seemed,
dicks.
he seemed a little more PG-ish.
Yeah,
He's just shy.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
All right.
he's
It
shy.
takes a minute. To
Um,
lose
I
it.
have that. He thought he was with fucking Adam Levine, the rapist, fucking
Right,
heroin
you know?
addict.
Well,
Exactly.
he also got scared when you locked the door and pulled out the condoms.
I did. Believe me,
Understandable.
I did. I thought
It's like, does this
Thought I
guy
was
have
getting
blue
catfished.
chews or
fuck. Blue chews. I love that.
You got to get some blue chews.
Yes, you do. Yeah, even just if they're not a sponsor, just get them just for your life, man.
Right. Just
I
for
will.
funsies.
I heard I can.
But yeah, you can look us up online, Legit Laughs Comedy. Go watch Dan Martin's special on Legit Laughs YouTube page.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we're gonna be posting more shows. Hopefully, we'll be posting more clips of local comedians soon.
we got to start recording those, dude.
I did record my second to last set at Rick's when I completely bombed, so we can post that.
Yeah, I got audio of my last set. I closed out Rick's. I
Do you
was
have
taking
like
the last guy.
do you have
I
a
got the set.
Facebook page for this business?
Yes, Legit Laughs Comedy.
So you just so
Yep,
you can
Legit
punch
Laughs
that
Comedy
on
for
Facebook.
anything.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll
Any of the
go
media.
fish that up after I post this in the Spotify. I'll throw it on the Spotify.
Oh,
link
hell yeah,
or
that'd
share
be
that.
awesome. Hell yeah.
Now I have your Instagrams here. Is
Yeah.
there
Yes.
any other handles you want to throw out there for people to follow you, or is this good enough for now?
I think that's the one for me.
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
said,
the
my media
Insta.
page is,
I mean, Facebook. Yeah, I usually post my shows and my stories. So
Yep.
Yeah, your Facebook's your regular name anyway,
exactly.
right? Yeah, so they'll find you on either way.
definitely.
Anything you want to say before I let you go? Are you going to an open mic night? You're gonna. From
I'm
here?
not
You heading
sure.
out
I
somewhere?
think we're gonna go outside, powwow over a little cannabis,
All right.
and figure out.
Yeah, I got a
if we
free
wanna
one. We can
drive
smoke.
there.
We can
powwow over cannabis.
we
Yeah.
can smoke. Yeah, right after
Excellent.
this.
But yeah, I got a show coming up. This is the only one I have booked until September, April 13th at the Warwick Radisson Hotel.
Oh, wow.
The Fanty Night 2.
That's right on the highway there.
Yeah, right on the highway. Easy to get to.
What do they call that? That's called something else. It's not the Radisson. They call it something else in Warwick too.
There's it's like a veterans ballroom or something like that.
Nice
something.
place. So when is that?
That one's April 13th.
Okay.
And is that a comedy show?
That's a comedy show, full comedy show. I'm hosting that one.
Nice.
Featured comedians Johnny Rotten, we know him, Daniel O'Donnell, Nate Hillis, Morgan Steele, and John Irwin, and Braden, my buddy.
Nice.
We'll
That's gonna be
probably-
awesome.
I also
there,
have
so.
I have an idea here. So when you do these things
Yeah.
and you have comedians that you have booked, why don't you send them my way,
All
and
right.
I can give them an interview before they
I will
actually
definitely
go on your
recommend.
show.
I'll
You know what I
recommend
mean?
anybody
Like,
to do this podcast. This was an awesome time.
Kind of book up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You are going to play a little drums before we leave.
Oh, yeah.
Not live here. I'll shut the shit off.
yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
And then we'll get out and smoke a joint, and we'll
check it
call
out.
it a night.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a double bass.
With that
Oh,
said,
yeah.
thank you so much, man.
Absolutely, it was great to
Actually,
meet you,
yeah,
man.
like I said,
Absolutely.
I
yeah,
want to
man.
get this
Fuck
going,
yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
So this would be fucking awesome, man.
Hell yeah.
And also, you guys have to sign the banner.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, we'll
Everyone
definitely
comes in
sign
now,
the banner.
signs that.
Yeah,
We'll take
for
a
sure.
picture of that shit. With that said, we will be back here next week. We will be back with a fighter in the house who would be who is a big to do, but we won't mention his name. And then we're gonna get more comedians in here.
Yeah.
Try to make this a weekly kind of fucking thing.
Hell
I
yeah,
think it'd be
man.
awesome, man. You
Hell
know what
yeah.
I mean?
Love that.
I can
I'll
actually-
come back anytime too. I like
can
this
a-
place.
You know, I can,
Yeah,
I
it's
a good
can
place to
actually
chill.
have comedians call in.
Maybe
also.
before
no
we
shit,
do
hell
the
Yeah, I can have them Skype in.
like
and
maybe
just-
Skype
before your
in? Yeah,
birthday,
anytime.
the show in September. Maybe we can come back and promote
Exactly,
that show.
Yeah,
anytime.
let's do that.
The
Oh,
one
yeah.
in April, the one in fucking September.
Yeah,
you know, we'll
cool.
book it.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Hell
why
yeah,
we're
man.
here, man.
Hell
Get
yeah,
this
man.
shit going. Blow up New England.
I love it.
All right, my man. With
Yeah.
that said,
Thank
we
you.
out of here. We're
Thank
going to
you.
smoke some weed.